Hello everyone, Ryan here. Venom. Venom, the movie. Finally got to see it. Of course, it stars Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock, of course. By the way, if you're not familiar with the Marvel character Venom, it's pretty much the gist of it is explained in the movie. But actually, there's a lot more to it than that. Of course, in the movie they leave out so many details. But I mean, I was pretty much expecting that. Of course, and I wish I was able to see the movie back when it first came out in theaters, but I got busy doing other stuff. So, I will say Venom is one of my favorite villains. Of course, I mean, depending on, essentially, Venom, it's like, there's this kind of like symbiotic connection. And it's like this entity that, it's like a black oozy kind of entity, being or something. And of course it needs some kind of host in order to survive and thrive and all that, and I guess supposedly, it can take over any body, really. It's just that some host bodies end up being stronger than others. Usually most host bodies end up, I guess you could say, decaying a lot faster than others, and because I guess essentially this like symbiotic being entity pretty much feeds off the host body. So yeah, but that's pretty much like explained in the movie. But again, like I said, there's so much more to it than that. But you would have to get familiar with the comic books, or be at least somewhat familiar with the comic book version of the character Venom. So, but anyways, I digress. As far as the movie is concerned, it shows that something happens where these astronauts crash, and because there's this like creepy billionaire guy who ends up, funding all of these different like travels into space, and then having these astronauts bring back samples of a lot of different things. I guess soil samples, I want to say virus samples, bacteria samples, and anything else I guess they can get their hands on. And like pretty much all in an effort to, I mean, he does it under the guise of helping humanity. But then of course it turns out that never really wanted to help anyone to begin with. I mean, yeah, he figured if he was able to help people and make money off of it, then yeah, he was all for it. But otherwise, his main concern was, I don't know, some weird thing, something having to do with him becoming powerful and whatnot. And so, because I guess it wasn't enough that he was a billionaire. He also had to be super strong, super powerful, and which is usually the case when it comes to villains. And I guess essentially he wanted to become like a super villain, or and of course Eddie Brock, he's this reporter, and he uncovers the truth about this billionaire's intentions, and of course the billionaire, through his connections, gets Eddie Brock fired, And also in Turn Something House, where Eddie Brock is also Michelle Williams is in this. I didn't expect her to be in it, but she plays the love interest. She's supposed to be Eddie Brock's, I want to say, girlfriend, longtime girlfriend, and he kind of like betrays her trust, because she's also some kind of reporter. Because I guess I don't want to give away too much, but essentially he betrays her trust, and so she jumps him. So because of that, he loses his job, loses his girlfriend, all in the same day. He kind of like gets depressed and whatnot, and well, not like a real serious depression, but a superficial movie kind of depression. Because obviously, like this movie, like even though like this character, eventually, Eddie Brock. Again, I won't say exactly how it happens, but eventually, the symbiotic being entity thing known as Venom finds Eddie Brock, inhabits his body, or I don't know what the correct term is. Inhabits his body, takes over his body, merges with his body, and it ends up being a perfect host body / symbiotic relationship or whatever. Again, I don't know the correct terms, but then they end up becoming the best of friends, and because the Venom, once he inhabits a Brock's body, they end up having conversations with each other, back and forth conversations, and which I would say those were the most interesting parts of the movie. And, I mean, granted, there's a lot of action sequences throughout, which are all right, they're pretty cool. I mean, the kind of stuff you'd expect from a Marvel movie. The CGI is definitely pretty awesome. I like that, for me, the CGI stuff, it didn't come off as too cheesy, or it didn't come off as like too much, or it seemed like it was like the right amount of CGI. So yeah, I mean, at least if there was way more CGI than what I noticed, then kudos to the people that did the CGI for this movie, because they're able to make it so seamless. But no, I'm pretty sure than that. I mean, what I noticed, it looks pretty awesome. But again, I guess, like I said, for me, the most interesting moments were when Eddie Brock and Venom were having back and forth conversations, because some of it actually ended up being funny and a little bit clever. Which is another thing too, like. One thing, like, I kind of didn't like about this movie, but also kind of liked, if that makes sense, was, because this entire movie has, like, a dark overtone to it. It's like a dark, thematic kind of thing going on. But at the same time, there's these, like, cheesy jokes to try to offset the darkness of it, I guess. Obviously, in a lot of other Marvel movies, they do the same thing. Of course, in all of the Avengers movies and Iron Man movies, Captain America movies, and they have those like cheesy one-liners that are supposed to make people laugh. So this movie hasn't, but I felt like those cheesy one-liners, for me, I felt like it didn't really work in this movie. But at the same time, it was still interesting to see them try to pull it off. Like, yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. Just, I mean, obviously, like, because they wanted to make this movie as quote unquote family friendly as possible, I guess. Because the character Venom, again, like I said, unless you're familiar with the comic book version of Venom, possibly even some animated versions of Venom, Venom is like a serious, real seriously bad dude. He bites people's heads off, tears limbs off, and all that. And they kind of show that in this movie, but it's like, it's not graphic. Like, they don't show like all the blood splattering everywhere, guts splattering. They leave all that out of this movie. Which, I kind of felt like they would have been better off just making it as dark as possible. Yeah, it's, I don't know, but I guess, because they didn't want to, Marvel / Disney, they wanted to make, because they already have the Deadpool movies, which are, the first R-rated Marvel Disney movies, and so I guess, yeah, they figured, we already have Deadpool going on. We don't need another R-rated movie. We don't need another R-rated Marvel / Disney movie. And but yeah, it's, like I said, well, and then of course, the performances are decent. I mean, I would say Tom Hardy, yeah, he gives a decent performance as Eddie Brock, and I mean, not really. I feel like the character Eddie Brock could have been played by literally any other actor. It really would, it really wouldn't have mattered that much. I mean, that's just how I feel. So, I mean, because it's like, there's certain characters people care a little more about than others, so yeah. But yeah, again, he gave a decent performance. Michelle Williams too gave an okay performance, and I guess really everyone in this movie gave okay to decent performances. And I mean, it was, nothing spectacular or or minds blowing, but overall, okay, decent, and and then of course the ending. I mean, I won't reveal, the ending, but yeah, it ends in a way that makes you expect a sequel. And in fact, I believe they are going to make a sequel. So, if nothing else, I do hope that in the sequel, they expand a lot more on the character Venom, mostly his origins, or but I wouldn't be surprised if like they barely reveal 2 or 3 things about Venom's origins, or but yeah, I mean, overall I would give it 7.5 at the bare minimum. 8 out of 10 at the most. So yeah, it's okay. Not really quite what I was wanting to see. Not really, all right, I would say like not quite what I was expecting, but I kind of was expecting this movie to be a toned down version of Venom, because of the fact that it's Marvel / Disney, and really Disney. That's so. Yeah, it was all right. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. So again, I give it 8 out of 10. That'll do it for this review, my review of Venom. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. As always, see you next time. Don't forget, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.